Well, I've arrived. Where have you arrived, Finn? I've arrived at beautiful Loch Glass. And why? Why have you come here, Finn? Well, tonight I am going to try and sleep way up there. Quite high, as far as you can go up to the very tip of the forest where I'm going to reside tonight. And see how that feels. Day 1. Day 2, thinking about trying something a little more complicated. But tonight, yeah, I'm going to pitch up at 1600 feet and enjoy it. Might have forgotten to mention that it's December 5th, 2020. The summit for day 2 is approximately 3,018 feet above sea level. Pretty high altitude. I've also picked up this little dainty on the walk up. Good bushcraft find. Nice platform, really. Really good after a long day's march to just change the clothing, get rid of the sweat layer. Tarp is up. I've just been and collected some water. Not much for flat land up here, it's very steep. You know what they say about Scotland and the underground. You don't want to set, probably not that you could, it's so wet here, but you don't want to set the peat and the undergrowth alight and for that to burn and come up later on when you don't expect it. With a platform made out of, 4 or 5 inch thick stone, you're not going to have that issue. A decent bit of coverage. Stuff kind of ready to go. Keep adding to this wonderful bit of fire. A couple of minutes later, just tenderly looking after it, building it up. Again, you got to be patient in these kind of conditions. It is a very wet day, rainfall, and then some. It's really fighting that layer of moisture on the outside, drying stuff in and around it. Try and help the drying process. And you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm gonna celebrate. Here's to you guys. Here's to surviving. That's a nice reward. So I've just taken a wee wander out to the viewpoint. Ooh. I mean, it really is it's just wonderful. The waterfall in the centre there. Snow top. Deluge. You've got a platform. A nice grill. So I think it's about time to get cooking. Looks like I'm in business. I think it's about time for dinner. Oh yes. Let's have a look. Yes. Alright, I've arrived at dinner time. I'm always in time for dinner. Alright. Go on, venison burger. That's banging. Good morning. It is a good morning. I'm dry. I've actually had a really good sleep. I'm quite toasty, so time to get back on the road. Didn't take any water on this trip. You can use some sphagnum moss. There's plenty of it around, and it really holds the water well. Refreshing. Isn't that just beautiful? It really is just something else. Oh, my happy laddie! First encounters with the deer. I think they expected me there. If they're wanting a staring contest, they've got it. Reaching some altitude now. Funnily enough, when I was coming down this valley, and I was going the wrong way, I seen this scotty and this track going up, and I was like, imagine that was the track. Turns out it was the track. So from another angle I've basically linked up with it. Pretty epic, but it's really hard terrain to walk in. And I can see, I believe the track heads away on up there.
But I'm just going to go to the end of this track for safety reasons. This is where I've said I'm going to go. So I'm going to pitch up at the end of this track wherever it ends up. And I'm not going to do anything crazy. Ben Withers! Ooh! The scale. Okay, I've got one more march to do. Check that shit out! Ooh! Yes! I'm heading up here. The final march. That deserves the change of camera.
I really love this shot for the impression of the scale. It was really quite a climb, but totally worth it. What a journey. I'm always one for appreciating nature, but what a view. Amazing shots of the Black Isle, all the way down to Cromarty and Nig, the Evanston Pier. Really fabulous views.
I have arrived. I'm at the top. I made it. The feeling is good. It's very cold, but I'm happy to be absolutely set up. On the way up, I started hitting an absolute whitewash. Time to chill, I think. Time to just hunker down. There's nothing to see. There's not much to do. Shout out to Lucy, shout out to Luna. Both my girls, I love you guys so much.
Really important in these locations to have a good tarpaulin set up. Basically just made a crawl space. It's a little hard to get into, but it really helps keep the wind out.
What a wonderful night. Yes, come on. Surviving. 3,000 foot above sea level, man. Yes. That is me completely packed and ready to go. You can imagine how much the fingers enjoyed that. It's such a shame that the visibility has just been so poor. I can just faintly see the edge of the rim here. A couple of interesting experiences. You know, last night there was one point I woke up and this must have cleared and I could see, you know, the lights down at the harbour at Evanton. It's the first time I've ever had completely frozen solid boots. It took quite a lot of effort to get into them. Everything was just completely frozen. As much as a toil as it was to get up here with all that gear, it was completely worth it. Every layer, every bit of wool was completely worth it because it retained that heat all night. So I'm descending at a good rate, really descending well. And again, I've come across these very interesting. They head all the way down. I find that fascinating. What hunting beast is up here on its own? Beside me, I did hear a wee bird just a while ago. Went flying away, you know, give me hunting stuff like that. Making really great time getting back. And I've actually been tracking myself on the way back. I've been following my own footsteps. Up there is that bit that was like a, just looks like a gravel, stone, scotty kind of thing. That I thought, oh, that'd be funny if that was the road. So I've just came down it, it was the road. Stunning quartz. Great for fire lighting, you know. Flint and steel, I'm sure there's a lot of good quartz here for that. On the way back, it's getting pretty dehydrated. Came across a lovely river. Drinking from the river like a deer. Oh, icy fresh. So in all fairness, probably going to do the same here. I'm going to take a couple of minutes just to decompress. And I'm going to get back on the road. This is the Wildcat Way. Wildcat Bushcraft. High altitude. Did it. Okay, I'm back at the car. There's one thing I'll finish on is life is amazing. Life is short and it's sweet. Your loved ones are what's most important. And remember that. Okay, peace out.